All right, tonight we are remembering our friend and colleague Eric Paulsen, who lost his battle to cancer over the weekend. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Cherise Gibson.
And I'm Katie Moore. The food and music of New Orleans were Eric Paulsen's favorite stories to bring to you. And from those stories came friendships, lots of good times, and of course a lot of laughs.
Yeah, Meg Farris has some of Eric's favorites in the food industry to share some behind-the-scenes memories.
When you walked in Bravo before, it was totally...
Very often, Eric Paulsen would have just one encounter with some of the great entrepreneurs in the New Orleans food industry. And what followed was a decades-long true friendship.
Whenever he did these events, Eric would always find his way into the kitchen.
That, with Zia's Greg Reggio, led to this.
I have a very special relationship with Eric. I mean, he married my wife and I. He got ordained to do that.
And Al Copeland Jr. and his father.
Eric loved food. And so any place that was serving good food that Eric liked, he enjoyed. When I first met Eric, he pulled up on a sailboat. My father had his race boat in the slip.
That chance meeting led to Eric getting to do a story on the opening of the first Popeyes in Puerto Rico.
He was just so jazzed about that trip that they were on a plane for all those hours, and they built this relationship.
Wait, Eric got a free trip to Puerto Rico?
He did.
Oh, that's so Eric.
On a private jet.
Tommy Satanovich had what could have been an uncomfortable chance meeting with Eric. He was dining there, and Tommy's father dented Eric's prize Corvette in the parking lot.
So I had to go in the restaurant and find Eric and say, Mr. Eric, I am Tommy Satanovich. I'm the owner of Drago's. My dad just backed into your car. And he was so genuinely nice about it, way nicer than I probably would have been.
That led to Tommy and Eric doing a weight loss competition on the air with Mackie Shilstone.
Eric cheated, I'm gonna tell you. He cheated, and he sat there, we had fun with it. You know, he had a picture of me putting my shoe with the pedometer on it in the dryer, so it was kind of rolling around.
Chef Duke LaCicero was also in that weight loss competition. Their bond started in 1991 during an interview on the morning news.
Because he was so genuine. With the Chef Duke Foundation with kids, anytime I picked up the phone, I said, look, I need you. He was there. Never turned me down, ever.
Eric always said yes anytime we'd call upon him and say, hey, Eric, can you come do an auction? Can you be an MC?
But as you well know by now, Eric was fluent in sarcasm. Ribbing came along with the bonds, like at this Bacchus extravaganza.
When we went by, I bombed him, and I know I hit him. I hit him hard. A few minutes later, I happened to look at my phone, and he says, dude, next time let your mom ride instead of you, because she's going to have a better arm than you have.
People would come to us after and say, I can't believe he talked to you like that. I said, what do you mean? That means he loves me, and I love him.
Eric, to this day, believes my dad stole his recipe in his Big Al's Cosmos and all the Copeland's restaurants.
Al proved him wrong with a private home tasting. And that friendship, like all the others, never, ever wavered.
If you met him, he became your lifelong friend.
Meg Farris, WWL, Louisiana.
He did make a mean martini, I'll say that. Well, some of those chefs will be on our morning news tomorrow to elaborate on some of their favorite Eric stories. We can't wait to hear them. Now, Eric also loved the New Orleans music community, too.
Yeah, he was described as a total champion of the culture of the Speakeasy. Today, some of the artists that Eric befriended over the years remembered him as a kind and giving and supportive patron of the arts. He also gave of his time at the New Orleans Jazz Museum, where he served as master of ceremonies for the museum's annual gala. Trumpeter James Andrews said Eric loved New Orleans music because he loved New Orleans and the people who live there.
That man was a true legend of New Orleans, and he was a true legend. The way he treated people, he was always nice, always had something kind to say.
Eric was wholeheartedly admiring and didn't feel like, oh, I should be there, I should be doing that. He just loved experiencing it.
We're absolutely going to remember Eric Paulsen as one of our own. He was one of us. He was accepted everywhere he went.
Well, James Andrews will be performing a special tribute to Eric on tomorrow's WWL Louisiana Morning News.
And in the days since Eric's passing, we've received literally thousands of messages and calls and comments on our Facebook pages and social media sites about how Eric impacted your lives over his time here in New Orleans. To many viewers, he wasn't just a newscaster, he was family.
We love him, and like I say, I watch him on TV, me and my sister and brother, my mama, and my family. And sorry to hear that. I've been crying all morning.
You know, the messages have really come from all over the country, showing the depth of Eric's impact, one that will surely live on. Tomorrow, the city of New Orleans will remember Eric Paulsen with a second line about the 6th Ward Steppers. It'll start at 6 p.m. at Tuba Fat Square on St. Philip and North Robertson, and then it'll go down St. Philip to North Rampart Street. The Roots of Music Crusaders will play a musical tribute. That's just one of the groups the family would like people to support in Eric's honor. Eric's funeral will be private.
Our tribute to Eric Paulsen continues. We'll have coverage, more coverage of how Eric is being remembered, including some comments that you sent to us. That's coming up later in the newscast.